next one because I'm always looking for that one amazing, fun, beautiful, and exciting game that will just get me hooked. And listen, if you have never heard about Arknights Endfield, or if you heard of it and you just were not interested enough to download it and try it out for yourself, I think this video is perfect for you because all you have to do is sit back, relax, and listen to me yap about my first impressions of the game. Now, I thought that recording this footage was actually a good idea because it was pretty chill. I had some exploration to do instead of just like completing a quest, which I thought would be more boring and really spoilerish for you guys. So yeah, that's just to explain the footage. Anyway, so the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is the character design and the characters in general. If you're new here, this is something you might not know already, but of course, if you're used to my videos and used to my yapping, you're probably tired of hearing me say this, but I personally play these games for the graphics and the pretty character designs, mostly. I just love a cute anime girly character. It's, yeah, you know. And anyway, Arknights, in terms of cute anime girly characters, did not disappoint. At first, I took a brief look at the 4-stars, the 4-star characters, that is, and I was like, nope. But the more I looked at them, watching their demos and the trailers, I kind of got attached to them and totally loved their designs. The 5 and 6 stars are a level above, of course, all extremely well designed with different color palettes, and it goes to a point where I think their outfits and designs fit so well with the world that I wouldn't even bother with skins if some were released, honestly. And this goes for NPCs as well. I just love the fact that each NPC looks different, but also that the game actually bothered to make multiple species of NPCs to show diversity. There's lore about it, I'm pretty sure, because we're on a different planet and on a spaceship at some point and so on, so there's definitely a lore about it, I'm sure. And yeah, this goes for the playable characters as well. You've got your usual anime cat and bunny girlies, but you also have other types of hybrids and species like lizards and stuff, which I think is really cool, and it gives us a wider selection. And yeah, I would say as far as my favorite characters go for now, I would say Berlica and Chen, I think, but mostly Chen. Chen is my favorite. I like her design and I also like her personality, so yeah. Now, aside from the design, onto the characters themselves. I'm not gonna talk about each one of them and who they are and whatever because I don't want to spoil you, and there are demos and trailers available on the Arknights Endfield YouTube channel if you want to get to know the characters. I just want to explain that as far as it goes, it remains similar to everything we've seen so far in other gacha games, aside from the fact that you have 3 rarities instead of the usual 2. So Arknights Endfield gives you the possibility to play 4, 5, or 6-star characters, 4 being the lowest in terms of rarity and 6 being the highest. Obviously, as I said earlier, the design's abilities and skills vary from one rarity to the other, and in my opinion, having 3 levels instead of just 2 makes it so you can get more characters. And do you know what? Even better, in Arknights Endfield, some of the 4-star 4-star characters that sit at level 1 on my account because they're just really bad and completely unusable no matter which comps or meta is trendy at the moment. So, yeah. Now, the second thing I wanted to talk about that we'll see a little bit of in this footage is the combat style. So, the type of player that I am just makes it so I tend to go towards a game with a combat style that requires the least effort possible. Whether that be in terms of reading tutorials, or I would say even in terms of how many clicks will make my characters move and kill enemies. Now, I know not all of us are the same. Some of you guys actually prefer more stimulating type of combat where you have to dodge, and where the fact that you dodge activates a passive and gives you a damage boost, and then switching to another character gives you yet another damage boost, and so on. And I think that Arknights Endfield did this pretty well. If even a lazy player like myself can have fun fighting enemies, I think combat's probably one of my favorite elements in game. So basically, your team is composed of the standard 4 characters. There's a main one that you control, and the other ones that will always be running around with you, whether you're just exploring or fighting enemies. Obviously, you can switch between characters. The main one that you control doesn't have to be the same one all the time. The first thing that I found really intriguing was the fact that your characters fight with you without you even having to click on anything. You could just focus on the character you're controlling, and the rest of your team will still do something and attack the enemies and deal damage to them. Of course, you also have the possibility of controlling the rest of your team as well as the main character you're controlling. So the rest of them can still be using special abilities the way and the moment you want them to. And this game also relies on skill points for certain abilities, and as far as I've played, which is only a couple of hours, I only have 3 skill points. One ability costs 1 skill point. You can recharge them with basic attacks or simply run a character whose ability is to recharge your skill points. For now, we only have Akiguri, if I'm not mistaken, that can do that. She's a 4-star character, but she's like goated. She's rumored to be the Bennett of Arknights Endfield, if you have the reference from Genshin Impact. So, yeah. Anyway, now on the downside, I have to say the bots controlling your, and I say on the downside, but it's such like it's not a major point at all. You know, it's not like I'll stop playing the game type of thing. But yeah, on the downside, the bots controlling your 3 other characters on field can sometimes mess things up, especially if the character has complicated abilities. And I think it's actually normal because bots are usually self-learning depending on how they're programmed to work. So I don't know how Arknights Endfield want to go about this in the future, but I think there's an easy kind of workaround with this one. So if one of the characters on your team seems too complicated for the bots to control, you can just make it so during combat that character is the one you control. So yeah, I think it's an easy workaround. Anyway, I think most of what I just said, using a lot of words to explain one thing very badly, will be explained to you anyways in-game through a tutorial. And honestly, from all of the tutorials that I've seen up until now, there are no complicated definitions, no endless reading, no endless pages to read from. The tutorials, especially the combat ones, are pretty straightforward, and yeah, if you don't like reading like myself, this was actually perfect because you that you might have left behind. If you're mining, they're going to be mining with you as well. But mining is a whole other thing, because mining can be set automatically, so you don't have to do anything. But I won't tell you too much about it. I don't wanna spoil you. But anyway, so yeah, as I said, your characters are always out and about with you, exploring, and if there is anything around that you need to loot and that you did not see, you will see a little bubble above one of your characters' heads that will tell you to follow them. So they'll show you something, and it can be a chest, it can be an ori lane, I think that's what it's called. It's the equivalent of the animoculi and stuff like that in Genshin. So yeah, they help with that, which I think is really cool. So you're kind of like never missing a chest or anything while exploring ever again. And honestly, that's just as far as I've gotten, because I'm pretty sure that this game has optimized things even more, but I've only played for a couple of hours. But yeah, so I've not caught up fully with the content of the game, but hopefully I'll get there very, very soon. So yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about the world exploration for now. You can pretty much roam around freely. There's no swimming, there's no climbing, and in my opinion it's much better than having them in game, to be honest. The world is also very pretty. It's a mix of modern and post-apocalyptic elements. There's a lot of tech, as you can see, around, but they also have very pretty nature spots here and there. I hear the second region, because it's already been released, I hear the second region is absolutely beautiful, so can't wait to see that. Anyway, another thing I wanted to talk about, but maybe I won't go into detail on this one, and I'll explain why, but it's the gacha system. So I think it's the only thing that I don't have much to say about, because I haven't read much about it yet, and I have not used it much. So there are currently 3 banners up. There's a special one that will only last a couple of weeks, if not days, kind of a gift because of the launch of the game. There's another one with a special 6 stars characters on it. Right now it's Lavadane, which maybe I'll pull for, but I'm not sure yet. And then there's another one that has standard 6 stars characters on it that will be on forever. So my understanding in this game is that there's no guarantee, there's no, oh, I lost my 50-50 on this banner, so now I can skip and wait till the other banners I have guarantee on the character that I wanted. So if you pull and you get the special character, good for you, and if you pull and you lose your 50-50, your chances reset and you might lose it again. And I can see why, because of this, how many could consider this like an issue in a bad gacha system. But in my opinion, I think it's just a game doing things differently. I understand that Genshin Impact was the first game because whether we're talking about the NPCs or main characters or even the side ones, every voice line is actually well acted and hooks you in. Mind you, some of the voice actors working on this project also work on Genshin Impact, and first of all, I could barely recognize their voices because they sound different, and second of all, they sound much more alive on Arknights Endfield, and I don't mean lively, I literally mean alive. Yeah. Anyways, I think I'll probably add a little example of the voice acting. There was one specific scene that I thought was very well acted. It was mostly NPCs, and I thought that I was like, oh wow, like I was hooked. So yeah. But anyway, last thing that I wanted to talk about for this game, and it is as far as I can go for this review right now, because as I said, I only have a couple of hours played. I can't say that in game right now I've been exposed to much music up until now. However, if you have watched the Arknights Endfield trailers, you know, you can see that a lot of money went into the artists selected and the songs produced for this game, which can only be described as a good thing in my opinion, because I think a good soundtrack, well fitted to the theme of the game, hooks you in. And if you haven't watched the trailers yet, I can only recommend you to, even if you don't plan on playing this game, even if you're not interested in the lore or anything, watch the trailers. They're gonna give you goosebumps, if only for the sake of watching a good video, I swear. And yeah, the soundtrack in the soundtracks in them are bangers. And actually, you know what? It's a little funny because at first, when my husband told me about the game, he was super hyped about it, and I was a little on the fence with it personally. I wasn't sure I wanted to bother with it. What with all the other games I'm currently playing, like there are so many between Genshin Impact, Marvel Rivals. As I said, I've gone back on a Stardew Valley frenzy, Animal Crossing, at like so many games, and I was like, oh, do I really want to bother with a new one? But all it took was my husband making me watch the trailers, and I was like, yeah, I'm trying out this game. I don't care. Because the trailers by themselves, just like the trailers, they were already very intriguing, but the soundtracks in them changed everything. It made them 10 times more intriguing, in my opinion. And I was hooked, and I was convinced, and I was like, yeah, I'm trying out this game. But anyway, so all in all, in my personal opinion, I think Arknights Endfield, I need to pronounce it well because there are many Arknight games, I think. So I think Arknights Endfield is worth the try. It's a game that tries to do things differently, and it stirs from what's been done so far. So I think just for that, it's worth trying. And yeah, I just want to point out something, or maybe ask you to remember something about this video. Its title is my emphasis on my first impressions of the game. It's not titled why you should absolutely play Arknights Endfield. I just feel like I need to say that because some people tend to take a lot of things about video games personally and way too seriously. So I think this is the perfect opportunity for all of us to remember that A, this video is just a summary of what